History is full of disappearances. A missing person here, a lost ship there. But the records we're about to open up, well, they completely defy all logical explanation. Let's dive right into this explainer, looking at the dark, entirely unresolved nightmare of Black Hollow. In October of 1987, an entire American town disappeared overnight. And I mean literally overnight. They weren't evacuated, they weren't destroyed by a storm, they just ceased to be. Today, we're going to look way past the official government reports of a toxic gas leak to uncover a much, much more chilling reality. Chapter 1: The Town That Vanished. To really grasp the sheer scale of this horror, you have to picture Black Hollow. It was this isolated, quiet mining town hidden deep in the West Virginia mountains, the kind of place where people actually felt safe enough to leave their doors unlocked. And 2,143, that was the exact population. Over 2,000 normal people. Mothers, fathers, miners, kids, all just living completely unremarkable lives, right up until the earth beneath them practically unraveled. Chapter 2: Mornings from Below. Now, this escalation into terror, it didn't just happen in a single instant. It actually began with a week of this slow, suffocating tension. We have a recovered audio transcript from a former resident, and they said the whole town felt weird that week. Dogs barking all night, power flickering. Locals even started reporting these deep vibrations beneath their floorboards and a strange rhythmic knocking coming from below the streets. But tragically, authorities just casually dismissed it as shifting mine tunnels. But those mundane structural noises on October 14th, they mutated fast. By the 15th, it wasn't just sound anymore. People started reporting these bizarre, pulsing blue lights bleeding out of glowing cracks right there in the forest floor. You can see how this timeline is pointing straight toward a horrific climax. As the week dragged on, the absolute most disturbing reports actually came from the local kids. They started claiming they could hear voices whispering from the soil. One child reportedly just stared dead at their teacher and delivered this chilling warning: "The people below are waking up." It was a massive, terrifying red flag that the adults completely ignored. Chapter 3: The Final Night. So, the pulsing lights, the underground knocking, the kids' warnings, it all finally culminated on October 18th, 1987. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the absolute, unfiltered chaos began. Within just a 4-minute window, the emergency dispatch was flooded with 17 frantic calls. Operators were listening to sobbing, panicked running, and just raw, unfiltered terror. One caller was literally screaming, "They're coming out of the mines," while another just desperately whispered into the phone, "Don't let them hear you." And then, at exactly 2:17 a.m., dead silence. Every single line was severed simultaneously. Chapter 4: The Discovery and the Mine Shaft. When state police finally rolled in at sunrise, they didn't find a disaster zone. They walked into a deeply psychological horror scene that honestly just defied all logic. Cars were still perfectly parked in their driveways. Breakfasts were sitting there abandoned, half-cooked on stoves. Televisions were just hissing with static. But there were no bodies. Zero blood, absolutely no signs of a struggle. 2,143 people had just vanished, leaving behind this eerie, frozen snapshot of domestic life. And the craziest part, every single clock in town, even the battery-powered watches, had stopped dead at exactly 2:13 a.m. Inevitably, the search teams gravitated toward the local mine shaft right at the edge of town. They found the heavy steel entrance collapsed inward, but not from a cave-in. It looked like something massive had pushed through from below. Inside, they found these deep, claw-like marks gouged into the tunnel walls, and trailing past them into the pitch black were hundreds of bare, human footprints leading deeper underground. Not a single footprint came back out. Weeks later, investigators managed to recover a heavily damaged cassette recorder deep inside that mine. The audio is just this nightmarish wall of heavy breathing, frantic running, and scraping metal. But cutting through the static, you can clearly hear a terrified male voice saying, "They look like us," right before another voice violently interrupts him, yelling, "Don't stop moving." After sounds of screaming and this awful, violent metallic tearing, the tape just abruptly cuts out. But right before it does, a child's voice calmly whispers this absolutely chilling admission: "We went below." Chapter 5: The Government Cover-Up. Following that terrifying discovery in the mine, the active rescue mission abruptly shifted into a heavily orchestrated federal cover-up. The official report? They cited methane gas poisoning and mass hysteria. I mean, an explanation that completely ignores the bare footprints, the clotted walls, the synchronized stopped clocks, and those terrifying 911 calls. It also conveniently glosses over the lead investigator who vanished without a trace after trying to leak photographs from inside the shaft. Within days, armed federal agents completely sealed off Black Hollow. Media access was strictly banned, and former officers were reportedly threatened into silence. By the following year, the government had quietly, systematically erased the town from state maps, basically ensuring that nobody could legally investigate the site ever again. But you can abandon a town. You can't always silence it. Today, satellite images just show a dead zone. Yet hikers who venture near that restricted perimeter, they keep reporting these intense sensory anomalies, strange glowing lights beneath the soil, heavy, rhythmic knocking in the dead of night, and disembodied voices echoing through the empty forest. And honestly, the most unsettling thing of all is the broadcast. Every single year, right on the anniversary of October 18th, local amateur radio operators intercept a rogue transmission. It's filled with heavy static and labored breathing, followed always by a single whispered phrase, "They're learning to come back up." So, this leaves us staring into the dark with a truly haunting question. Did Black Hollow really disappear? Were over 2,000 people just the victims of an unprecedented psychological break? Or did something ancient wake up beneath them? Or maybe the town never actually left at all. Whatever the awful truth is, the perimeter remains permanently restricted and heavily guarded by federal authorities. The official population of Black Hollow stands at exactly 0. And whatever is down there in the dark, well, it remains strictly off-limits to us all. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Some mysteries are buried for a reason. Sleep well.